Welcome to Confident AF Live, taking your mindset next level to get next year's results today with me, your host, Brandon Foster. Are you a badass peep with big dreams, ready to turn your unrealistic goals into reality? Confident AF Live is the gateway to enormous new opportunities and unlimited possibilities. The unrealistic can suddenly become realistic for you if you believe it. Are you ready to take your dreams and results to the next level? Then stay tuned as we help crack open the door to new ways of impactful thinking and believing about yourself with mindset practices for badass people like you. Confident AF Live starts right now. What up, boo? Welcome to another episode of Confident AF Live. I am so happy you are here. My name is Brandon Foster. I am a next level mindset expert and confidence coach for badasses like you who want to deliberately and systematically scale your business by deliberately and systematically scaling your mindset. Now, last week, you didn't even catch last week's episode. Sierra, who's one of my amazing producers, she said she really liked it. So take Sierra's word for it. It was, why are you not getting leads in your business? The mindset and energetics behind getting leads. So check that out. This week, we have another jam-packed, powerful episode. And today it is called, How Do We Anchor Into Faith? Also known as, when it looks like it's not working, how do we continue to believe? And I just want to give you all the definition of faith first and foremost, which I'll just use a biblical definition, which is the assurance of things hoped for and not yet seen. And so many people decide to anchor into hope. Hope is never something that you want to anchor into. Hope, I believe, is a wonderful light in a dark room. It's like the candle, right? The candle in the dark room that illuminates everything. That's hope. It is huge. It's important. I would say the number one prayer that I teach people to pray is, God, angels, universe, show me how to see my situation, the person, my business, whatever it is differently. Help me to see through the eyes of unconditional love. And for me, that's really asking God, all I see is darkness right now. I don't feel the love. I don't see the love. I'm just asking for you to turn on that candle so I can really see how you're working, how you're moving, and how you're helping me through this situation with this difficult person, this difficult relationship, with my sales, with my lead flow, like whatever it is in your life or business where you really want to have faith. So hope, again, faith is assurance of things hoped for and not yet seen. So you can't see it, which means you haven't seen the manifestation. You haven't seen your desires come true. You haven't seen the goal come to fruition in your life and your business. But the piece that people miss so much is that assurance means, it's a promise. Assurance means promise. When you start to use the definition of faith as faith is the promise of things hoped for and not yet seen, that changes the whole entire definition of faith. So how do you anchor into knowing that what you want is not a hope for, it's a promise? That's what this episode is going to be. You all are going to have to favorite this episode and share this with other people. And it's really, really important. So the first thing that we want to do to anchor into faith is we want to look at our faithful past. So what I mean by that is I want you all to look at the times where you didn't know how things were going to happen. You didn't know how things were going to work out for you. You didn't know how you're going to come out on the other side, but you believed anyway. You had faith anyway, and God showed up. Love came through. You were successful. You did achieve the goal, dream, desire, everything worked for your highest good and your highest favor. Because just as much as God, your creator, loved you back then, he loves you now. And just as much as the whole power of the universe is trying to help you right now, it did then. And it's so easy for us with our limitations and not being able to see the entire energies of the universe to think that our situation is hopeless. But the law of polarity states that every opportunity or challenge has an equal solution, which means every fear has an equal solution of love. And we also know that love is more powerful than any fear that you have. So the first thing I would do is when you go, I don't know how this is going to happen, I don't know how this is going to work in my favor, go and ask God, hey, remind me of all the times that you honored your promises to me. Hey, remind me how you've showed up over and over again in my business. Hey, remind me how you've always stood by my side and helped me during dark times. Remind me of those times so I can use that to give myself courage for the situation, the faith to make through what I'm going through right now. I use this piece in a huge way when my husband's parents decided to move to Florida. And I remember that when we had wanted to buy a house, there's a whole episode on this too about house buying. And I talk about this story in detail. You should check out that episode. But I remember how we didn't think we could afford a house. And my uncle poked a huge hole in that limiting idea, limiting belief by saying we could actually afford a really nice house. And we were spending more money on our apartment than we would if we had a house. And then I remember that we just wanted it so bad. And, you know, sometimes people say you shouldn't want things. I believe desires are from God. And when you really, really want something, I feel like it's really about stepping into another level of trust and faith and belief and how much God loves and adores you, especially when God puts the desires in your heart. And one thing after another just happened perfectly for us to have our house, including, you know, at the time, my husband had a contract with the local McDonald's franchisees in Tampa, and they extended his contract from 1 year to 5 years so that we could get approved for our mortgage. And I remember Dustin's parents, his mom was literally crying on our couch because they were looking all over Tampa, Florida area for a house that they could afford, but that was also nice, that was energetically aligned with their worthiness and who they were. And it was like nothing was working. And then I just remember telling them like, no, there has to be something we're missing. There has to be like a really, really easy win that we were missing. And so I suggested a different city. They looked there. It was perfect. Then they told them they didn't have any openings for them to go in to look at the houses. But they said put on the wait list. They were literally driving back to our house, and they got a call inviting them in to look at it the next day. And then they got there the next day and they said it would be 6 months. And they were looking and they were sad because they didn't want to wait 6 months. And then while they were looking, someone closing date fell through. And so the realtor showed them a house that had just closed through, is exactly what they wanted. They put it on the deposit. Like things move really fast when you anchor into faith. And you can anchor into faith more so and a lot quicker when you remind yourself how God has honored the promises, the desires in your heart in your past. So that would be number one, look at the faithful past. Number two would be take encouragement from other stories. I think one of the biggest reasons why people love listening to this podcast and love listening on YouTube and love the group coaching aspects of the coaching containers that I do is because we get great confidence and courage from hearing other people's triumphs and wins. And if it can happen for them, it can happen for us. And, you know, God loves us all unconditionally, which is amazing, which means if you ever see something, hear something, that is amazing that happened in someone else's life, that means it's meant for you too. What pulls us out is when we get jealous. And if we get jealous, it's because we feel like God or the universe is withholding or judging us, and we're not as worthy, that we can't have it. It's impossible for us, or it's too hard for us to get. And it's not true. And so, number two, to anchor into your faith is to allow yourself to take great encouragement from other people's wins, victories, and stories that they've had in their lives, because what it does is it removes some doubt. It removes the limiting beliefs. It removes the ideas, the clutter, the fog of why you can't have what you want or be who you want, because if they can have it, then you can too. This really works good too for like siblings. Like if you're a sibling, you've had a sibling rivalry, like there's nothing like seeing a sibling do something and be like, well, if they can do it, then I can do it too. Right? Or a best friend. I'm sure some of you have had those kinds of friendly rivalries, but it really does help. Number three is having your mind stay in the present moment. So this is really, really interesting, because we often allow worry and doubt to creep into our minds. Doubt because we don't know how, and worry because of negative what if scenarios over situations in our life and our business. And so what if situations are things that haven't happened yet? And doubt is assuming that the promise is not going to be fulfilled. So neither one of those are focused in the actual present moment. They're both focused into the future. And oftentimes what we do is, the reason why we have doubt, the reason why we have worry, is we're projecting our past into the future because we haven't forgiven it. We haven't accepted it. We're dragging it with us instead of realizing that we are free from our past. It can't be changed. And because we're free from our past and it can't be changed, then everything gets to be different today. Everything gets to be different today. So number three, which is just a new revelation that I'm having right now as I'm speaking to it, is being in the present moment means anything is possible. Anything is possible today. Today is a brand new day and anything is possible. It's possible to get more leads today. It's possible to get brand new clients today. It's possible to have people reach out today. It's possible to have more money than you could ever hope for today. Like, it's all possible today, because tomorrow has not been decided. And what's in the past is in the past. So it's all possible today. Everything is possible today. It's really powerful. Number four, how to anchor into faith. Take action. Vincent Van Gogh had a quote that the only way to stop the critic who's saying you can't paint is to paint. And Dale Carnegie also said that the only way to get rid of doubt is to take the action that you doubt. And I truly believe that, because the more we're afraid of something, the more we procrastinate, right? It's kind of like waiting to ride a roller coaster, thinking about the Ferrari one, Abu Dhabi, I think it is, where you have to wear the goggles and it goes like 120 miles per hour and it doesn't go in rain, or when there's any kind of wind, because the rain and the dust will feel like rocks smacking you. But a lot of times we don't do things because we're afraid, which means the only way to conquer the fear is to actually do them. Like, that's the only way to conquer the fear, is to actually do them. And so taking inspired action oftentimes is a great way to anchor into faith and belief about who you are and who you can be. And so I want to encourage all of you that when you leave, after you finish listening to this episode today, I want you to take an action that you're scared to take. It doesn't have to be the huge step. It can be the smallest step, but take the smallest step toward that action that you can to start overcoming that fear, because that's going to give you more faith. Doing things you're afraid to do is the best way to have more faith, because when you do things you're unsure of and not sure you can actually pull off and do, And then God's grace and love and kindness shows up when you do the thing. It automatically increases your faith, your assurance of things hoped for and not yet seen. And it's very, very powerful because faith can be stacked just like anything else can be stacked. Like your confidence can be stacked, like your joy can be stacked, like gratitude can be stacked. It's a very, very powerful thing. Number 5 is ask to see things differently. And I already talked about this, but apparently we need to talk about it again because we assign meaning to things in our lives. Something happens, a situation, circumstance, the way someone else responds to us, something happens, and we automatically want to know why it's happening. And the danger in wanting to know why it's happening is we can either go a good way of how this is working out in our favor and it's the best thing that ever happened to it. I don't know how it's working out for favor, but it's a blessing and it's amazing and it's great. Or it is the worst thing that's ever happened to us and we go the other way. The truth is, an event, circumstance, reaction of a person, it just happened. And knowing why is not as important and not a determining factor in your success as much as it is deciding that no matter what, it's working out for your good, it's working out in your favor, and you're going to take the easiest action to take to see it through that way, and you're willing to see it through the eyes of unconditional love. So whenever you have any situation or circumstance that pulls you out, whether you had a huge dip in leads for your business or sales in your business, or you had people you love and adore leave your business, or a health diagnosis that you don't love, like whatever it is that happened, you have two things. You can either decide to harvest the good, or you can decide to be a victim. And I'm not saying that this is easy because it's a conscious and deliberate choice, but I have this thing printed that I was given. I think it's a Chuck Swindoll quote. I think it's on attitude. I could be wrong if it's not Chuck Swindoll, but it's how attitude is what truly determines your success. And attitude, if you're not familiar with what attitude is your thoughts and how you feel. So it's how you think about things and how you feel about things that actually determine your success 99% more than the actual event itself, because events are just feedback. Events, it's like, I remember one of my incredible Born to Save clients, Jamie, and shout out to Jamie. And I remember how, this was several years ago now, she was starting her YouTube channel for her business. And while everyone else was upset that they were getting like 1 or 2 subscribers a week, I remember Jamie celebrating her first subscriber like she had literally won the lottery or an Academy Award. Like she was so excited. And that excitement and that gratitude is what propels you forward in your life and in your business to go further than you ever have before, because you're celebrating that forward progress. And so it inspires you to keep taking action. When you go the other way and you're not celebrating that milestone or that action, it deflates you. It makes you not want to take action. If you're not taking action, you don't have faith. If you don't have faith, you're not taking action. None of your dreams or goals are going to come true. So it's very, very important to ask to see things differently, especially when you're disappointed, especially when you take action and you don't have the sales. You take action, you don't have the signups. You do the calls and the person says, no, they're going to wait. It's really important for you to ask to see things differently, which is perfect segue to bring me to number 6, which is look for small signs that it is working. Look for small signs it is working. I always talk about the gestation period, which is the time from when you choose to believe something, you start taking action before you actually see the goal achieved or the manifestation of your desire. And I always love to tell people, because I'm a former circus clown, about how, a woman's gestation period for a baby is 9 months. A gestation period for a mouse is like a week or a couple of days, whatever it is. But the gestation period for an elephant is 2 years, because it's so a baby elephant can weigh like 250 pounds when it's born. knowing that, you always in your business need to be looking for the smallest signs that it is working. I remember setting up a funnel, and it was just like a huge win just to know that everything was triggering appropriately and that the emails were getting sent. Like, that's a huge win. Huge, huge, huge win. Getting your first subscribers, getting people to follow you, like knowing that like people are actually seeing your content and what you're putting out there is huge. So when you can learn to do that, it's like planting seeds in a garden and looking for the sprouts, looking for the growth, looking for the buds before the flower blooms. You need to be doing that in your business and your finances in your life all the time to inspire you to keep going and to keep moving forward. And then number 7, which sometimes I think is the hardest and also the easiest at the same time. Because let's just face it, as human beings, we love to focus our attention to what our 5 senses are telling us at the time. Well, we can see, touch, taste, smell, and hear. But the truth is, what happens when you can't see the wind, when you can't taste the wind, when you can't touch the wind, when it doesn't look like it's happening? How do you anchor back into faith, which is a definition of what faith is when you can't see it? Well, the truth is, you anchor back into it by deciding to. You anchor back into it by reminding yourself that it is your decision to believe. Because at the end of the day, it is a decision. Having faith is a decision. It's an internal decision to anchor into. You choose. And the cool thing about it is, if you've lost a little bit of your faith in yourself or in your business, you lost a little bit of confidence, you lost a little bit of faith that God has your back, that you're loved and adored. If you've lost a little bit of that, I have really good news for you, boo. You can redecide. You can always redecide. You can always anchor back into that truth whenever you need to. And you should. And you should. All right. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this podcast. Check out the YouTube as well, at Brandon R. Foster Coaching. Make sure you're following me on Instagram at Brandon R. Foster. And if you want to experience more trainings, join the Confident AF Mindset Practices Facebook group. I love you so very much. Our next episode, are you guys ready for this one? It's going to be, why are my clients not paying? Why are my clients not going to pay me? Why are they not paying? This is going to be a really good one on mindset and energy with your clients and when and why they're not paying. I love you so much, boo. Have an amazing day. You have been listening to Confident AF Live, taking your mindset next level to get next year's results today with host Brandon Foster on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Listen or watch live every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, where I help badasses like you with big dreams learn to take their impact and results next level, turning those unrealistic goals into reality. Confident AF Live is the gateway to enormous new opportunities and unlimited possibilities. For more information, get in touch with me, Brandon, at BrandonRFoster.com.